This episode of the Jaguar Football Podcast is brought to you by Lorenzos Tacos and Burritos, located at 1841 Old State Route 21, addicted to tacos. Hi everyone, I'm Carl Burach. Welcome to our podcast. This is week 2. And of course, with us today is the head coach of Seckman Football, Dr. Nick Baer. And Coach Baer, wonderful to see you, and a tremendous amount of content packed into just one small podcast today.
Yeah, happy to be here. You know, last Friday night started the season off 1-0, and you can't really ask for much better than that.
No, absolutely. And, I wanted to include it so bad in the podcast. Your interview with Fox 2 after the game, you were fired up. I was fired up. I think the entire stadium was fired up. I saw people obviously in our section and then overflow into the home stands. And then there were people on the hill. So we had a tremendous amount of support out at Parkway West.
Yeah, there's always a lot of excitement building into week 1. All the anticipation, you have the whole off season, and, you have to answer a lot of questions week 1. Will we, won't we, can we, can't we? And, it's really that first opportunity to see if we can. So, we were able to do that Friday night, and got done talking to the boys, and then all of a sudden I got a camera in my face. So a little hyped up after talking to them. And, like I said in my email this week, always fun, getting a chance to spread the good word of Seckman football, especially to some of the local news channels. It's like the 5 or 6 time I've been on a major St. Louis broadcasting network, which is more times than like real doctors and people that actually save lives, but it's always fun.
Well, it was certainly worth the price of admission. Great game. And again, it seemed like the atmosphere there, even in the away stands, was electric. Great turnout. Happy our folks made the trip up 141 to Parkway West. It was a really good matchup. And speaking of which, you have some plays that you would like to highlight, especially when it comes to defense.
Yeah, when you come out week 1, you're definitely expecting some week 1 mistakes and things you need to tighten up. And, we tell the boys all the time, we're not going to play our best game, week 1. Our goal is to play our best game week 10, 11, 12, right? We want to continue to get better every game. But we knew we were going to have to play a good game to win this one. And that's really what we've been preparing for. And Parkway West, very solid team, very solid program with a lot of history, a lot of story. They got one guy at Mizzou right now, another guy playing at Lindenwood. So always have good athletes out on the field, and they're very well coached. And Coach Duncan's been there, I believe, like 16 years at this point. So we knew we had to be pretty solid all around to get it done. And, obviously the offense scoring 40 points, over 400 yards of rushing. Good to see that we can do what we do. And it's fun to also kind of watch the film and still find things to get better at. And that's what we were able to do yesterday, and that's what we're working on this week.
Sure.
And then, the defense really played solid. The Parkway West quarterback, he kind of probably came into this game, not with a very big name. He's number 12. I know that. But he'll make a name for himself this year. He's very poised back there, makes a lot of good throws, and our guys did a really good job containing him all night long. Really, when you think about it, their last touchdown they scored, last waning minutes of the game. So really to hold a team like this with the ability to score points really fast to 7 is a great challenge for our defense the first week. So, I got a couple clips up here, just kind of some things, that we did right, and some things that, hey, when you do see an open receiver or things not work our way, what actually happened. This first play here, when I played football my junior year, my head coach was Mike Reese, and one thing he always said to me, or one thing he said, he doesn't know maybe that it stuck with me, is big-time players make big-time plays on big-time stages. And that's what this play is right here. Dom Medeiros, a big-time player, makes a big play, an interception on a big-time stage. It's 7-0 right here. First quarter, Parkway West is driving. We need a little mojo, and Dom provided it. So Dom's going to be out here in the flat. Dom's right here in the flat here. He's going to drop to the flat here. Make a great read on the quarterback's eyes. Make the pick. And then from here, we're off to the races. The funnest part I really enjoy is watching everybody else race to get in front of them, race to get down to the end zone. And they're all trying to catch him. Joe catches him here, gets in front of him. Little known fact, Dom, was a JV quarterback. This is a good reason why we moved into the defense. He stays on the sideline here. He might have a touchdown. Cuts it back, his tackle, but fantastic job, fantastic play. Like I said, big-time players make big-time plays on big-time stages. So this was a great job by him.
Yeah, very opportunistic time for that to happen. You said that they were moving down the field, and certainly talented quarterbacks, talented wide receiver at Parkway West, and that was a game changer. A lot of momentum shifted after that.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time. Winning football games is hard. When you look at the 40-14 box score, you're like, whoa, Seckman rolled to another one, and they score there, it could be a different story. The game comes down to really the smallest and the tiniest margins. And those margins have just been going our way. And some of it's luck, some of it's hard work, and a lot of it is our guys making plays when we need them.
Yeah.
Next play here, play. I told you, we talked a little bit earlier in the week. I said, we don't really know what Parkway West is going to do. We did have every film they had last year. Didn't want to say that last week. But we had every film on them from last year. We knew that there were some things they really liked to do, some things that we probably thought they were going to try to hit us with. One of them was called a hook and ladder. You can see my cursor out here. You're going to see this guy run a hitch route right here, which you saw him do a few times last night or Friday night, death by 1,000 paper cuts. All right. He's going to run this hitch route. Well, you're going to see the tailback come here, whip around here. So what he's actually going to do is he's supposed to catch the hitch and then pitch it to the tailback. We had our guys so well coached up on this. All right. Ethan Shamel here knew he had to watch for the pitch. And then we knew Rutledge here, Jackson Rutledge, our pup, he knew he had the hitch. So we almost play it too well here. So as I let it roll, you're going to see our guys recognize. You see Ethan recognize it, and he actually passes up the guy with the ball carrier, right? He's going to recognize it too well. He sees the back coming out. He knows it's hook and ladder. He sees the hook and ladder. He almost doesn't. You feel like, why didn't he tackle that guy? Well, we wanted him to tackle him, but he knew he had tailback, and then he trusted his teammate, Jackson Rutledge, to be there, and that's really what defense is all about, trusting your teammates. So our guys were prepared for that one.
Yeah, it's so interesting because on the podcast last week, we were talking about advantages and disadvantages of having a lot of tape or, playing an opponent, every year versus maybe one or two every three.
Right.
Could the same thing be said about, what's going on at the early part of the season? Maybe, Parkway West, they, thought that you were going to do this and then you do something completely different.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. Especially like with Parkway West, all we had on them this year was the Jamboree. So, And if you were at our Jamboree, everybody's running a lot of basic stuff. So it's really hard to kind of guess. And, unless you hear about a team going through like a drastic change, you would hear through the grapevine, hey, Parkway West is going to go triple option. And then, then you make your whole switch. But very rarely do teams make humongous changes. And when they do, that, normally, it kind of trickles down and you find out. So really, yeah, this game, it was kind of this is what we think. This is what they did a lot of last year, lots of hooks and ladders to change the speed of a game. And we got our guys ready. This is another one here. They love the tailback screen. And we coached our guys up all week on the tailback screen. So what that means is this linemen here are actually going to let our D linemen go, rush up field. And then these guys, the Parkway West offensive linemen, are going to let them go and actually try to get up to our linebackers. It's a very hard play to defend simply because when you're a fast flow defense like us, we're very aggressive up front. You get us all going forward, and then you throw it right behind us, and then we don't have a lot left. We do a great job of doing really well on this play. We coached up the linebackers, hey, you guys are going to get to your drops, but as you're getting to your drop, you got to find that tailback. If you see that tailback coming up, sneaking up here, you got to get to him. Same thing. You're going to see Domaderos once again make a great play. We get a little motion. It's going to bring him into the box. He does a great job, too, of getting his eyes on the tailback, finding the tailback, and looking for that screen. So we'll watch our guys execute this pretty well. You can see him let go. So now you see they let him go. And you've got linemen, 3 linemen here for 1, 2, 3 linebackers. Dom's got eyes. Here's the tailback squatting. Dom makes a good play, and then in comes the cavalry. Jackson Compton scoops it up, and it's a 1 or 2 yard gain. And usually when it comes to screens, if it doesn't work the first time, teams typically don't come back to it. So worked out really well for us there. Then this play here, we knew they're not a real big tackle-to-tackle team running between the tackles. They were going to try to get the ball on the edge, and that's where it comes. And we've talked about the responsibility of these guys a few times and how to execute. Real good job on this play by senior Gavin Shreve. You're going to see him actually blow this tackle back up into the backfield, all right? And it's going to force this receiver here to, instead of have this nice short angle to the sideline, he's actually going to have to bump, and that's going to give us a great time for our cavalry to come make a play. So watch Gavin here first. Boom. Gavin resets the line of scrimmage way back here in the backfield. It was up here. Now it's here. Now he's got to bubble back. Well, what do we got? I got a linebacker coming here, taking on his block. We got Dom LaGrasso fighting outside leverage, and then we have our perfect alleyway for our safety like we talk about all the time. Corner is going to be over here fighting to hold this alley here. All right. And you'll actually see, Compton does a great job. Hey, this window's open. He's going to peek into it, but this guy actually dips into, and Compton does a great job of redirecting right into this window here. Bloop. Really solid defensive play all around by all of our guys there.
Yeah, Coach. Funny that you mentioned Gavin.
So,
I'm sorry. I didn't want to cut you off. Funny you mentioned Gavin because in your weekly email to the parents, you mentioned his rise through the program. And I was just wondering, before we get to this next clip, you could talk about it because that was a tremendous play.
Yeah, super proud of him. Gavin was one of our team captains. Got the chance to talk about him to the team at our team meal. And, he's a guy that's come all the way up all 4 years. He had to play he played freshman football, sophomore on the JV. And then last year, he still wasn't quite ready. He was a junior taking a bunch of JV reps. And then he kept working, kept grinding, kept getting better. And now he came out week 1. And he's a guy that we can rely on. He showed he's a guy we can rely on. He's physically got himself ready to be a varsity starter his senior year. And that's really what's helped take our program to the next level is guys like Gavin and Landon Kramer, that they don't just quit when things aren't going their way. They keep working. They keep getting better. And then they keep showing their coaches, hey, you know what? I'm going to stick around long enough. I'm going to outwork. I'm going to earn me a spot on the field. And that's what Gavin did, and I'm super proud of him and his development through our program.
Now, Coach, such a great story. So I saw that you wrote about him in your email and wanted to just take that opportunity while we're talking about these plays. So, great story and good on him for working hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when it comes to this play here, I talked a little bit at the beginning. The Parkway West quarterback, very talented. You give him an inch and he'll be able to take it. And that's kind of what happens on this play. They have quads over here, 4 receivers, and you're going to see this guy run a streak right down the middle of the field. All right. Well, we got our new sophomore safety right here, and we told him, hey, we want you to align in the middle of the field. Well, notice how he's aligned over the football. So there's a little lack of communication here where we want him in the middle of the field. If he's actually about 5 or 6 steps over here in the middle of the field, you're going to see he would have been right there to make that play. Right there to make that play. They actually run the same formation. I wish I had the clip. I didn't even think about it. They run the same formation, same exact play. We're scooted over in the right spot, and Compton actually almost gets it all picked off. So great job being coachable on the sideline. And that's one of those week 1 communications. Hey, middle of the field may not necessarily be over the middle of the football. We're talking about the middle of the field. Sometimes we're working with 16 to 17 to 18-year-old kids, and that line of communication gets broke. Yeah. This one here, Parkway West touchdown. We did a really good job keeping the receivers in front of us. I know they completed a lot of footballs, but hey, that ball's in front of us. And, I always call it death by 1,000 paper cuts. I'd rather see 10 hitches thrown in front of us than 1 deep ball over us for 6 points. So, so we're going to let this play run here. I'll show you kind of what happened. All right. Our quarterback, we're doing a great job in our coverage here. But then you're going to see the quarterback starts to roll out. Well, what we need our corner to do here is keep dropping. He kind of gets his eyes inside. We call it scramble drill. We just forgot for a moment here, and then they're able to take advantage of it. Bloop, right over the top. And that's something we'll continue to work on through the season. We know Pattonville will have a pretty good quarterback. He'll be pretty active and want him to scramble. And, it's a great learning lesson for our guys. So,
Yeah. So, Coach, I'm sorry. With the defense playing so well, and it seems like they picked up right where they left off last year.
yeah.
Do you have, let's say, cause for excitement? Of course, to hold a team to 14 points and you score 40. What's your thoughts? Like, how do you're only going into week 2 now. What has you excited? What has you maybe a little? You shared a little bit some.
Yeah,
things that need
no,
to
I
be
mean,
coached
we've
on.
shown that we have that physicality that we had last year. And, where I just showed you a couple of breakdowns, those are things that happen. And we're going to go through the season. We had a couple of missed tackles we weren't very satisfied with, and we want to fix those. And we know we got to fix those going in the next week.
All right, Coach, and so that brings us to week 2. Big game this Friday, and I know just in preparation for this podcast, there's a ton of shirts that you're rolling through.
Yeah, I've already sold about 480 shirts before lunchtime. So I've got 2XLs and 3XLs left. Always a lot of excitement building into this game, and the challenge for us as coaches, um, we know it's a big game to the kids, so it's not like we're going to say it's not. It's just like every other game, because it's not, right? So the challenge is getting them to still go out there and execute, keep their mind on their job and what they need to do, because we're going to acknowledge that this is a big game and we want this one. Um, you're going to see a very different style of game. We call it a fist fight in a phone booth. Very physical. Fox is going to try to have real tight splits and run their triple option. We've broken that down a few times. They can give it to a couple of their bigger fullbacks. Quarterback can keep it, come around the edge, and then they've got some athletic wingbacks they can pitch the ball to. So, it's going to definitely be a very different style of game, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Certainly, the whole community looks forward to it, and maybe for folks newer to the program or parents that have freshmen, sophomore, they may not know what it's like to be on the other side of a game against Fox. I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the history of the matchup and how that's gone and how things have changed here in the last few years.
Yeah, we've been playing each other, I mean, all the way back since about 2002. And anytime you're playing a district rival, whether it's at the college level or even in the NFL, Chiefs playing the Ravens, it's just a little different. There's just a little bit added intensity. A lot of these guys have grown up. They know each other. They've grown up together. Some of them played on the same football teams in Little League. And they're 10 minutes down the road. So it just means a little bit more. The crowd's always going to be a little bit bigger because everybody's in town and coming out. And, historically, we picked off 1 or 2 of the early matchups, and then Fox rolled off 15 straight victories, all the way up to 2021. And we've been lucky enough to kind of end up on the right side of it the last 3 years. And, we're hoping to do that again on Friday.
And not necessarily give away your game plan or anything like that, but what do you think you talked about the fight in the phone booth. Mm-hmm. What do you really think it's going to come down to? Because I know a couple of years ago it was a goal line stand. Yep. What do you think will be the big
it's going to really
maker?
come down to leverage. Can we play lower than them? They've got big linemen. They've got big, strong linemen. You're going to see them when they go out there. You give up your chest, they're going to beat you. They're going to get up to our linebackers. They're going to do a good job. So it's very important for us on both sides of the line of scrimmage to be playing with great leverage. And then, the rest from there goes to which team can make the least amount of mistakes. Really, that's all what high school football is about. I hate to keep it that simple, but which team's going to make the fewest amount of mistakes? Can we execute our offense and keep rolling down the field 4 or 5 yards a clip and wear them down?
Well, certainly the community is behind you and obviously the team. And, of course, we can't wait for that game. Our new field, new playing surface, everything still looking to be on track for Friday?
Yeah, like I said, I'm not the turf expert, and I don't want to speak for the bosses, but I'm watching them spread the sand, spread the rubber. I'm sure they've got a bunch of checklist things they got to do. I'm optimistic. So, let's see.
All right, sounds good. And with that, Coach, wanted to take this opportunity to, number one, thank our sponsor of the podcast, Lorenzos Tacos and Burritos. They've always been very, very forthcoming and helpful in sponsoring this podcast. And today we wanted to take pause and highlight one of your student athletes. So I wonder if you could, talk to us about
Yeah,
Isaac.
Isaac Johnston, find him out on the field on Friday night, number 31. Okay, we always talk about don't watch the football, right? Watch, find a player, watch them, see what's really happening out there. Find Isaac Johnston. He's about 5'4", 170 pounds. He's actually the shortest guy on the team, but with the biggest heart and probably the best human being that we currently have on the team. Always there for his teammates, always there supporting them, has love for them. He's the type of kid that you want your kid to be. And, super proud to have him on our team. On Friday night, you're going to see him eating up a lot of double teams. It's pretty much going to be about 500 pounds versus 170 pounds. And he's going to win it with leverage.
That's great. I wish, we had more of Isaac's on our team and just in our life in general. Sounds like a great person. And we're happy to celebrate him today. And so, Coach, we made the plea last week to increase the reach of our Facebook page, and the community answered that call. Within the last 7 days, we grew 130 followers. So we'll put it out again. We're over 300. We'd love to get to 400 by the time we kick off against Fox. So be sure to check out our social media pages. We have great videos. We have the link to the Fox 2 Friday night highlights with your interview after the game, which is, again, I wish I could have put it in here, but right. A lot of great content. And again, as we go through the season, we'll add more and more to it. And so, Coach, that leaves us here at the end of our podcast. And here we are going into week 2, big rival just on the horizon. Wanted to give you the floor and have you take us out.
Yeah, hey, tonight we're getting ready for our first freshman JV football game. So I hope everybody, going out to CBC tonight to watch them play Parkway West. Key thing to remember about our freshman JV, it's all about development. It's all about getting better. They're going to be out there competing. The boys are going to be giving it their all. I don't measure the success of what's happening on a Monday by wins and losses. I measure about what I'm seeing on the field and what I'm seeing on the sideline and how that group progresses throughout the year. So, really looking forward. I'll be out there tonight on the sideline with those guys, coaching them up and, hanging out and having a good time. Mondays are my favorite. You don't have the pressure of a Friday night. You just get to go out there. I see these kids working all the time, and they finally get to go out there and have that opportunity to succeed and perform on the field. And I like to be out there with them. So looking forward to enjoying the games tonight on Tuesday, and then hope everybody gets a chance to come out Friday. Come early, and, let's try to get to 2-0.
Sounds great. And of course, Coach, we thank you so much for your time. Roll Jags and beat Fox, of course. And we look forward to connecting again when we speak next week.
Perfect. Thanks, Carl.
All right. Thank you, Coach.